Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here. Welcome to 1985 in the Mid South Review Series. We've got over 150 episodes already up, and we're going to have Mid South 85 hopefully done this week. Then we're going to go back and fill in some gaps, hopefully, and see what we can do. Music video starting with the Rock and Roll Express here this week. Then we got Iceman King Parsons against Rick Oliver. Don't know much about Rick Oliver. I'm assuming a relatively new to the sport kind of enhancement talent there. Iceman King Parsons, of course, a big deal outside of the or in the World Class Championship Wrestling area. He comes here for a little bit and gets some advantage there. Side headlock by Parsons. Parsons off the rope, and the Iceman up and over, slides behind. I think this actually might be derivative of Rip Oliver instead of Rick Oliver. I think looking at him, it looks like Rip Oliver from Portland Northwest, and ultimately, deep arm drag there. Several hold-ons by Parsons. Parsons not willing to take too terribly much of a backward step unless absolutely necessary, and he doesn't really get the level of tie-in that he gets with the world class area, but I think a lot of that has to do with the tie-in of him being so closely connected with the Von Erichs for so long. And not to mention, if you haven't already, please go check out our world class series here. Anyway, shoulder tackle from the second rope and a win for good old Iceman King Parsons. The Alamo brothers won a title shot. They basically claimed that in their contract when they were brought in from Mexico, they were promised a World Tag Team Championship match on television. They are not happy that they have not received said match. Tim Horner and Shawn Michaels against the Alamo brothers. And of course, Michaels, relatively new here, still a few months into his career. Shawn Michaels obviously becomes a major star, probably one of the best of all time. But here he's an enhancement talent who's there to put over, the guys that are there. And Michaels or Horner starts the match, kicks off, and really basic stuff. Michaels also manages to kind of hook things in a little bit off, kind of go behind in the roll up and all of that really basic stuff. And Horner and Michaels could have been a tag team that would have worked in the time frame. The Guerreros managed to get an arm hook in, and it doesn't go that well for them. Tim Horner has been cut off from his tag team partner for quite a while. Snapmares him over, and head scissors takeover. Move we don't see a lot of in these days, and it makes me sad because I miss the head scissors takeover. Horner comes back with one of his own. Obviously, the Lucha version is much more friendly. Rana takeover by Horner before he tags to Michaels with a head scissors takeover by Michaels there. Irish whip and a dropkick right under the chin. Tag into the corner with the other Guerrero brother. Series of arm drags there. Michaels fights back relatively, assertively until he runs into a high knee, almost like a Harley Race high knee there, and ultimately, shot into the throat. Doesn't get all he wants on it. Gets enough though. Michaels manages to get caught and dumped over with a modified Northern Light suplex without the bridge. Tag off again by the Guerreros, and they are continually fighting, and a victory for the Guerreros here. Then we see a TV title match, Buddy Landel and Jerry Taylor. Taylor has been a babyface in the area for a very long time. Buddy Landel managed, of course, by Skandor Akbar coming into 1985. And obviously, that match is there to keep things going for Landel. Hard forearms and shots in the midsection for Buddy Landel. Landel with several shots. And Taylor tries to Hip toss his man out of the corner. Gets blocked a couple times, but finally does get the hip toss. Taylor with a very basic simplicity to the match. They run leapfrogs and all that, basic spots. Again, back to the hip toss. This time, turning the hip toss into a pinning combination is Terry Taylor. Taylor does not want to waste any time with his adversary. And Ice King Parsons out to contend with Skandor Akbar. Of course, they've run across each other in the world class area as well. So the history between the two of them in the event that fans are watching both products, which I think is possible with syndication, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's possible. Anyway, big body slam by Landell. Landell gets the man up and over, goes down to a really basic deal here. Roll up 1-2 and a 2 count there. Doesn't get all he wants, does Landell. Landell manages the attempted chokeout. Doesn't get what he wants there and snapmares him over. And ultimately, very basic situation. Very simple moves. The reverse chin lock and the like, and a bit of a brawl. Taylor finally comes back, nails a couple of shots of his own. Taylor off the ropes and gets tripped up by Akbar. Akbar tries to cheat again. This time, a trip up by Iceman King Parsons, who has seconded his friend Terry Taylor, and Taylor gets a victory there. DiBiase and Dr. Death, Steve Williams facing off against Jim Duggan and Daniels. Obviously, DiBiase coming back to Mid-South, having issues with Duggan, and that proceeds through the next several weeks here. I don't know where the blow-off to their feud is. I'm guessing somewhere, maybe even in the next, several months. I've never seen 85 all the way through. I wish 86 and 87, the UWF years were more available than they are, but we'll see what's available when we get to that level. I know it's not a lot available on the network. Terry Daniels is a young man who has been quite successful over the last several runs of it, and tie up Daniels with arm bars, arm ringers, and the like. Tag off to DiBiase. DiBiase back elbow. DiBiase kind of prancing and trying to get Duggan to get drawn into the match. Duggan comes in, cleans house on the heels, and DiBiase and friends run away. Bit of a brawl. Duggan blocks the shot into the buckle. It's ultimately quite clear that Duggan has the more power. DiBiase has the more finesse, so the styles clash between the two still works all these months later. Of course, they were former members of the Rat Pack, and that was a pretty big thing here. Shots by Duggan in the corner, DiBiase up and out with the hip toss takeover, and Williams comes in. Williams tries his darndest to get an advantage here, go behind several of them, as a matter of fact, by Duggan. Both guys switching up. Tag off, and baby faces are in control. They're in control because Duggan is able to keep things at bay for a minute or two, and then we see the hot shot maneuver by Williams. Williams tags off to DiBiase. DiBiase with the short knee to the kitchen sink, and doesn't get all he wants on that, but gets enough to keep the match going in control for his team. Duggan actually slides a knee right into the spine of DiBiase, which is odd for a babyface maneuver, but they've gone at it long enough that I think the babyface is cheating at this point. Probably not something the fans really cared about. Anyway, several shots by Duggan. Duggan sends both guys together. Punch, 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 roundabout. Duggan cleaning house, sends the guys together with a double noggin, knocker, baby faces in. And Dr. Death sends Terry Daniels into DiBiase head first. Their heads crack, and Williams drops down and gets a pinfall victory there. Hercules Hernandez, Sheik Hercules Hernandez, which is still a name that I'm not a fan of. I don't necessarily like the Sheik designation for Hernandez, but anyway, he faces off against Brad Armstrong. Armstrong, pretty sure is still your North American champion. Yeah, which is just weird that they've run that long with him. Also, 3 segments left with less than 11 minutes. No, it tells me that this match isn't going to be too terribly long. Anyway, power moves. Skandor Akbar on the outside of the ring. Very excited by what's happening there. A couple of drop kicks under the chin by Armstrong. Armstrong really good for only 3 or 4 years in the business at this point. Hercules over the shoulder with the shots and manages to get a couple of punches. Hercules ducks out. He sends the man into the top turnbuckle head first, and then hits a second rope fist drop type maneuver, or just dropping fist. Suplex by Hercules. Hercules very dominant in the contest, obviously speaking, and um, a side backbreaker by Hercules. Hercules certainly in control of the contest. And then we see a 2 count on a inside cradle by Armstrong. Armstrong trying his best. Gets the kick under the chin of Hercules. Hercules unimpressed by this. Armstrong manages to get several shots off. Hercules looks probably to be in the best condition we've seen him in thus far in Mid-South. He uses his power, though, quite easily and does the hot shot across the top rope. The attempted choke out, and Akbar kicks him off. Referee is down. Akbar makes his way in and starts to beat on, at least for a moment, starts to beat on his adversary, and ultimately we see a big body slam. Referee still down, by the way, off the power slam. Hercules should have the victory according to himself. He goes and goes for a second rope headbutt, but Brad Armstrong slips over, gets a quick victory there. Kamala and David Diamond, not a big surprise that Diamond falls prey to Kamala super quickly. Number one, still a couple of segments left, or still one segment left after this, and a Jake Roberts match, and Kamala, gets his gear taken off, his knee pads, leg pads, whatever have you, taken off by Kemshi and or Friday. Friday, actually, the Mid-South version of Kemshi. Anyway, back chops, and Kamala certainly not in any rush, but at the same time gets a splash 1, 2, 3 in victory. Rocky King and Jake Roberts. Roberts starting to get a little aggravated. In the next couple of weeks, we'll see Roberts demanding championship matches. Roberts in the corner with a series of elbows, short clothesline by Roberts, and taking every advantage he can get. Amazing to me that Jake's still around. Head scissors takeover, and head scissors taken around by Roberts. Roberts hits some short shots and hits the or goes for the DDT. Instead, manages to hook a hanging suplex over that top rope. Roberts backs off due to the referee's pressuring, but I don't think he really wanted to. Hits the DDT and gets the victory, and Jake Roberts has shown his dominance here in Mid-South in early 1985. We'll be back with more right after this.